Hi, this is Emma Burford from the Business Rocks podcast, and today I'm delighted to share this space with Karen Williams, one of our Biz Rocks contributors. Hi there, Karen.
Hi Emma, thank you for inviting me today.
It's a pleasure, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about Karen, and then I'll let her fill you in a few more blanks. Karen is one of our expert authors, and for a number of years now has been writing and putting books together and coaching wannabe authors who have got a book inside them. So, Karen, tell me a little bit more about how you got into that type of coaching and getting into your book writing.
That's a really good question, Emma. When I started out, I set up my business self-discovery coaching back in November 2006, and I started out as a life coach. Really didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I saw a lot of people being very similar to me. Now, at the time, I worked with a mentor, and I realised I needed to niche, and there was, the sorts of things you're taught when you started out, and I started to put the right things in place. Back in 2009, I was doing my NLP Masters, and I modelled the mindset behind this succession business. I spent some time with some really successful coaches, and I wrote my first book inadvertently. Learned the hard way, made loads of mistakes. It cost me a fortune. It took me a really long time, and then I wrote my second one, and it was so much easier. And it's really just been the last, I don't know, maybe 9, 12 months that people have said to me, I want to write a book. You've done it. How can you help me? That I've made that conscious decision to help more people. And obviously, writing your book is the hook, which is the definitive guide to writing, publishing, and promoting your book. It's really been my baby, I suppose, for the last 5 months, and something that's coming out later this year, December, January this year. Well, this winter anyway.
Fantastic, and I'm very fortunate to have been able to read part of the book. I'm halfway through, Karen. Didn't quite finish it last night, but it's a fantastic book, and it really will help people, find out how to put the book together. And that's something that I'm sure people like me, I'm not really a writer, so it's not something that is at the top of my list, but I know one day, that's something that I'd like to do, and we need people like you to show us how to do it. So how long did it take to get the idea and put it together, Karen? Can you kind of share a little bit more on the time factor and how you fitted that in alongside your current business model?
Yeah. Well, it's quite funny. When I set out, at the beginning of this year, 2014, I never really set out to write this book. I had another one that was on the go, which I've written, and I've had to put it on the back burner. And then suddenly in August, I got this bright idea to run a program. So I ran a 6-week program called Your Book is a Hook, and I wrote the book alongside it. Now, when I started putting the program together and I started selling it, people started buying it, and oh, I better write it again. So I wrote the first 33,000 words within 5 weeks.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that was really, really quick, but I had to, I had a webinar every week that I was running, and I was writing the book alongside running the program, because I also know that people learn in different styles. So literally I started it probably middle of August. I finished it a couple of days ago. So it will take about 5 months really from start to finish for this book, which is quite a pretty good timing. Writing's the easy bit, the editing is the bit that's kind of more difficult to do. But I never set out to write this book, but I'm just modelling what I've done.
Yeah. Do you edit the book yourself, or do you get husband, partners, friends to read it, or do you have a book editor?
All of the above, really.
Yeah.
I read it myself. I do my own editing. Getting a professional is really important. I've got a brilliant editor, proofreader, and she's worked on the book for me. You've got to get other people to look at it. Now, there's a couple of things that I share within the book, and one of them is that you're not, as a writer yourself, you're not going to see those mistakes that other people will see automatically. You get so close to your own material, and you probably find it if you write a blog post or you're writing something for the magazine, you don't necessarily see that should be an it, the choose that should be a chose, and things like that. And I think getting someone professional who has got a different perspective is really key.
Yeah, sure. And as an editor and publisher, it is a surprise. Doesn't surprise me. I do spot a lot of things on the articles that come through, and I'll go back to people and say, "Oh, do you notice you got that bit wrong?" It is, you do, like you say, you get too close to it, and when you're writing yourself, it's easy to do that. So, so your ideal client are coaches, therapists, people out there who have already got a successful business online. Is that right? You're looking to help those kind of people?
Yeah, I work with people who want to be experts, basically, who see the book as the hook to actually grow their business. So generally, I'm working with nutritionists, trainers, hypnotherapists, all sorts of different types of practitioners, really, because I know the book is the hook to actually get noticed. And this is really why I came into it. When I wrote and I published my first two books, it set me aside from other people who were doing something similar to me. They hadn't written a book, so it led to speaking opportunities. It led to clients who wouldn't have found out about me in other ways. And in the book, I share some stories of how it's helped me, and I've also interviewed some other people who've shared their own experiences as well. It's amazing what a difference a book can make to your business. It's all about standing out. It's all about getting noticed and becoming more visible.
Yeah, and getting that expert status, because suddenly you're in print, they know you've published, so you become sought after material. It is a fantastic book. As I skimmed the end of it, didn't quite finish all of it, but it is really informative, and it's going to be a #1 bestseller by the new year. I'm absolutely convinced of that, Karen.
Well, one of the things I will say, Emma, is when you are, what I find a lot of my clients find when they're writing the book, it's quite a scary thing as well. Even when I was doing the final edits this week, it's just like, I know it's okay, but I'm still reading it again, and then it's like, no, it needs to go away for someone else to look at now, because it can be quite scary when you do tell people what you think. You're sticking your head above the parapet, you're getting your message out there in that way, and it's quite, a lot of people find that really difficult as well.
Sure, and I know you do these coaching courses for wannabe writers. You recently in the summer took a number of women, I believe they were all women, out to Spain, which sounds a perfect place to go and write a book when you're relaxed and you're away from your family environment. So how many of those people that you took out have got books in the pipeline now, or have some of them actually already got those books out there?
They're still working. They're still working on it. It wasn't an exclusively women, but it just so happened it was women who came out. Booked it again for the 24th to 29th of September next year as well, if you're interested.
Brilliant.
None of them have finished their books, but a lot of them in the pipeline. So it's just really a mixture between it. I think when you're away in Spain and you've got the beautiful village, the environment, the fresh air, you get inspired to write. You go back to reality, and you're trying to fit it in around clients, around work, around business, around children, around everything else that is going on. It can be more difficult to do. So I'm sure they'll be coming back next year, hopefully for book #2 by then.
Yes, book #2. So this one's going to be coming out very soon, imminently. Have you got something planned already for the future? Have you got a new book already in draft or title mode? Do you go for title first? Do you have your topic?
No. Well, no, but I've written another book that I wrote, and I finished it more or less the time I started writing this one, but I put it on the back burner just because I don't have time to focus on it. So I've got a developmental editor who's going to be helping me with that book, because it's more about my story.
Right,
so
personal journey.
More personal journey. It's The Mouse That Roared. It's something that's really exciting for me, but it's also about a real deep breath to put it out there. And I've got another one up here that I'm hoping to write next year that hopefully will be easier as well.
Excellent. I can't wait to see what comes out of that. And talking of books, we were chatting earlier. You're going to tell us about one of your favourite books that you've got that you can share with us today.
Yeah, one of my favourite books of all time, and I haven't read it for years, is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. By Robin S. Sharma. Basically, it's a story that tells it's the journey of a lawyer who is one day has a heart attack, and he sells his Ferrari. He goes to the Himalayas and he goes on a journey of self-discovery, basically, and it follows the hero's journey. I talk about it in the book. Actually, it follows the hero's journey format, and it's just he comes back and he talks to a former colleague of his of what he's actually gone through, and it's a really well written story, thought-provoking, a little bit like The kind of, and it's one that I recommend to my clients. It's a really good read, but there's so many books out there that are brilliant. I love reading, I love writing myself, so it's just really hard to pick just one, but that's my favourite.
Excellent. I have heard of it, but I haven't actually read it. Do you read? Yeah, I'll put it on my list for sure. Do you read on a Kindle? Do you prefer a hard softback book? How do you read, Karen?
I do both, actually. I've got a Kindle app on my iPad. I love reading. I love reading on that. But there is something about getting that physical book in your hand and being able to actually turn the pages. And I like both. And with all of my books, I publish them both ways, because I know some people like that physical copy, and it's great if you're, at an event or something like that. But I do like just being able to do that on my iPad and just being able to read. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so you're going to also tell us about perhaps somebody that you admire in business? Have you got someone that you look up to, or a type of person that you might be working with?
Well, when I interviewed my first book, I interviewed some brilliant coaches, some amazing people, some of whom I've stayed in contact with. And one guy I particularly admire is Michael Neal over in the States, super coach. I think he's brilliant, really authentic, comes from the heart, and that's the type of person that I like to be with, like to work with. There's too much out there. I'll measure my language, but there's too much rubbish out there. There's too many people selling things which are unobtainable. I like working with people who are real, authentic, who actually they do and say something that's important rather than make things up. And that's the type of person I like the way he works.
Yeah, I think it is all about person, and I've been lucky enough, I've mentioned before, to be coached by Mari Smith, and it was about that relationship with the person rather than what they were promoting, or and that's people by people. We know that, so that's definitely what's really important.
Yeah, it's about that authenticity, that being real. I don't promise people things that they can't actually achieve, and writing a book in 6 months is something they can achieve, but it's about being really real and authentic, and that's I suppose it's part of my values as well.
Yeah, and we always say that when you're looking for your ideal client, by writing a book, people will read it and either resonate with them or it won't, and then they're not your ideal client. So it's a great way, I guess, of really focusing on the right people, and they'll be attracted to you by what you've written. So that sounds great. Can't read the book properly on my Kindle, because I'm a Kindle reader. I or else it's on the laptop or the computer. But really looking forward after the Christmas break to be able to read the full book properly and enjoy Your Book is the Hook, of course. Now, I know you've been in business for a long time now, and I'm hoping you can share a little biz tip with us for our Biz Rocks listeners and viewers today. So what's your best biz tip, Karen?
That's really interesting for what you just said a moment ago, Emma. You need to know your ideal clients. So my biggest tip that I'm going to share with listeners, with watchers, is what do you want to get known for? When you start to get really clear about what you want to get known for, what type of people you want to attract in your business, what they want to say about you, where you are an expert, that is my top biz tip today. Answer that question, what do you want to get known for? And it's a life changer, it's a business changer, it's something I ask all of my clients.
Yeah, and so that's probably one of the main first questions you start off with, and that's a great one, because I'm in lots of groups. I know a lot of business women, and a lot of people still struggle with that common thing. What do people know you for? And it's getting that really clear vision. So that's a great biz tip. Thank you so much, Karen. So now, for our readers, the book will be out soon. Your Book is the Hook. Where can they find it on your website, please, Karen?
If you go to my main website, selfdiscoverycoaching.co.uk, you'll find a link, or go to www.yourbookisthehook.com/book, and you can pre-order it from me now. So it's available for pre-order, and as soon as it's ready, it'll be posted out to you, signed, sealed, and ready to be devoured.
Devoured for Christmas and New Year. Sounds good, yes. Karen. So thank you so much for being my guest today on the Business Rocks podcast, Karen. I hope everyone goes out and checks that link out. I'll put a note on the post so that everyone can find it easily for you. And I'll let you get on now with the final edits, and we'll be ready to read it very soon. So thank you so much for coming on, Karen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.